Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sasha and I have been to every single tour I've ever wanted to go to, and that makes me sound like an absolute brat, but I'm here to give you tips of how to get tickets to go and see Ariana Grande when she tours in August 2026. Get a pen, get a paper, get your notepad, get whatever you need to get a cup of tea, get a biscuit, I don't know, sit down and listen because class is in session. I'm going to teach you absolutely everything I know about how to get Ticketmaster, AXS, whatever tickets for any concert that you want. In the past, I've managed to get tickets for Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, Coldplay, like all of the difficult tickets. Most recently, I got tickets for my friends for My Chemical Romance. I'm not even going, but like that's how good I am at getting tickets that I got 8 tickets just for them. So I'm gonna go rapid fire through my tips and tricks of how to crack the system and get whatever tickets you want. Tip number 1 is to sign up for pre-sale on Ariana Grande's actual like Instagram, TikTok, like her social media accounts. If you click the link in Ariana's bio, it will take you to a page where you can sign up for a pre-sale. So that's the first pre-sale, the artist pre-sale. You will also have like O2 pre-sale. So if you've got Virgin Wi-Fi or an O2 SIM, you will have access to O2 priority because in London, she's playing at the O2. So the O2 priority is a given, you're gonna have that. And you're also gonna have the general sale as well. So you've got 3 opportunities to access the sale. Do bear in mind though, that at the moment, as I'm filming this on, what date is it? Saturday the 30th of August, they are the only European dates. There are no other dates for Europe at the moment, so London is going to be quite competitive to get the tickets for. Before the tickets go on sale, I would recommend having a look at the venue, having a look at what the layout might be. I know there's already been leaks on Twitter, TikTok about like potential stage layouts. Ariana actually commented on that video herself and said it's similar to the layout, but that's not the final layout. So that gives you an idea of, okay, well I can start planning where I might want to sit because this is what it might look like. She said it's close, so I would just kind of start looking at that and kind of looking at where you might want to sit. Be flexible with your pricing is what I would say. That sounds, I don't know, I feel like that sounds so like out of touch for me to say, but have a budget in mind. So if you don't want to go above like £200, then stick to your guns. I'm not saying like go crazy, spend like £1,000 on this, but I'm just saying you need to be flexible. Don't go in thinking, well, I can't spend more than 50 quid on a ticket, because the cheapest tickets are going to go first. So you need to be aware that if that's the case, if that's your budget, you're going to be really limited on getting tickets basically. It'll be interesting to see if Ariana turns on dynamic pricing. I know when Sabrina released tickets for the Short and Sweet tour, dynamic pricing was on, but when the Eras tour tickets came out, Taylor turned it off, which we love her for, because it basically stops the tickets from going up in price just because they're popular. Have a look at your dates as well. Have a look at what dates you are able to do. If you can only do weekends, just bearing in mind like a lot of people try and get the weekend shows. So if there's like a show on a Tuesday, bear in mind that that will probably be a bit easier to get a ticket for than a Saturday. That's typically how it goes because people don't want to book time off work or whatever. It is in the summer holidays though. It's in the middle of August, which helps if you want to take, like, I'm taking my niece, hopefully, if I get tickets, fingers crossed I will. I'll be taking my niece, so I don't need to worry about like, oh well, she'll be at school on Tuesday because it's in the summer holidays, which I'm so grateful for. Another tip to do before the tickets go on sale is have your card details already saved to your Ticketmaster account. So go and do it now, pause this video, go over to Ticketmaster right now, AXS, wherever it's going to be, and have your card details saved to your account so that when you're checking out you can literally go like bang bang bang, easy done. Like it needs to be as easy as possible for it to be as seamless as possible. On the morning of the ticket sale, make sure you are already logged in. So if the tickets go on sale at 9 AM, go on at like 7 when you wake up and just log into your account. Like it's that easy, because when you try and get in the queue, like you might be in the waiting room and it might be okay to be logged out, and then you try and get into the queue but you have to log in, and then you might be further back in the queue than if you had just logged in the first place. So just make it as easy for yourself as possible, have your card details saved and be logged in already. I don't know if we'll get this for the Ariana tour, but for the Eras tour we got emailed a pre-sale code, and I had that in a new note, so a brand new note, not amongst other crap like my to-do list for the day or my shopping list or whatever. A brand new note, had it copied and pasted in there, and then I had it copied to my device ready to paste. So like if it asked me what the code was, it was like paste, done, there it is. I don't need to be like, oh where's the email with the code, well, I don't know what the code is, or just like have it written down on a bit of paper in front of you. But personally I would rather have it copied and pasted to my device ready just to enter. Like I could just press paste, done. Personally I always have multiple devices. You can't be on multiple devices on the same account. So if you've only got one account, you can't be on a computer and a phone. You can only be on one or the other, and if you're on both, it risks putting you, so say my computer I was like 20,000 in the queue, but my phone I was 10,000 in the queue. I'm risking my phone getting kicked back to 20,000 because that's where my computer is, because I've got both devices open. So I would definitely say try and have, like, do not have multiple devices on one account. I've got 3 different email addresses, so I've got 3 different Ticketmaster accounts. I've got one for my phone, one for my iPad and one for my computer, and I log in on different devices. I could choose different dates, so I could either try all 3 devices on the same date, and then I get the opportunity to be in 3 different slots in the queue. So my phone could be at 20,000, my iPad could be at 30,000, but my laptop, if I log on and I'm like 5,000 in the queue, then I'm like I'm in the queue 3 times, but this one's got a better chance, if that makes sense. And then I know as well that I need to keep an eye on the computer because that's the one that's going to be in the queue first. I would always recommend using the website where possible. I personally don't think the app is that easy to use, whereas if you use the website, it's easier to refresh, it's easier to navigate. I would just always prefer to use a computer, but obviously if you're on your phone, use the website, not the app. This is a controversial one. I always refresh the queue. Like, so once you're in the waiting room and you've got like 30 seconds, so say the tickets go on sale at 9 AM on the dot, when it's like 10 seconds to go until it hits 9 AM, like I literally have the world clock up on a different screen, I start refreshing slowly. Don't overdo it because it'll think you're a bot. I start refreshing slowly and I jump into the queue at some point. I found that any time I have ever waited for it to assign me a place in the queue, I'm always really far back. I know people always say don't do this, but I did it. So when we were trying to get My Chemical Romance tickets, my friends, I don't think, refreshed, and then they were further back in the queue than me, who did refresh, and I immediately was like 9,000 in the queue and I got 8 tickets really easily. So personally, I always refresh, but don't hold me for that. Like, do whatever you think is right, but I always refresh just before it turns like 9 o'clock or something, and I've always been fine. But that's me. Don't blame me if you do that and then you're at the back of the queue. Whatever you do though, do not refresh once you're in the queue. Once you've been given your number, once you've been given like, okay, well, your number 9,000 in the queue, do not refresh. Leave it alone. Keep it active, keep your screen active, wiggle the mouse around, do not click anything because you don't want to risk clicking off. Do not refresh because you'll get kicked to the back of the queue. Once you are eventually in, you have to be quick. You have to, like, once you're in, you're fighting everyone else that's in to get the ticket. Have your budget already decided. If you're going with a group of friends or whatever, have them like ready to send money to whoever gets in first. So with me, I think I ended up checking out on Klarna and then my friend just sent me the money afterwards. It's up to you how you want to do it. Be in conversation, like if you're going with your best friend, be in conversation with them if you can while it's happening, because then you know, okay, well, actually it's £10 above our budget, are we still cool to do it? Like, you just have to be quick. You have to be like, I don't know, try not to stress, but you have to be quick. If you're going as a group, say there's like 5 of you going, the best opportunity for you to all be together would be to get a standing ticket. I don't know if they're gonna do like, because with Lady Gaga, she had like seated floor tickets, whereas in the UK, you're normally standing when you're on the floor. That's the best way to all be together. So when we went to Sabrina, there was like 7 of us that went and we all just bought floor tickets, and it was so much easier because like I bought the initial 4 of us that wanted to go. I got us the 4 floor tickets, and then like someone else decided that they wanted to join us, so they just bought a ticket, and then someone else decided that they wanted to join, so they got a ticket too. So it's easier to get floor tickets if you're going as like a group. Personally, I'm not too bothered about trying to get barricade. That's a different conversation. I can do a different video on that. I would rather stand a bit further back and have like space to breathe and space to dance and be like happy than trying to be right at the front, but that's just me. If you are seated, I would try and like have a look at other platforms. So like have a look at Twitter, for example. So if the tickets for like America go on sale like a week before or something, or like the day before or whatever, or even an hour before, like, or even while you're in the queue, just keep an eye on Twitter and have a look at, okay, well, this person's just bought this seat for this much. It kind of gives you an idea of what the price is going to be before you get in and choose your seats. And don't be like, I'm only getting in if I'm getting lower bowl, but my budget is 50 quid. Like, it's just not going to work. You need to be flexible. I know I've already said that. You can refresh, but don't refresh too often. Don't be sat there pressing the refresh button like 7 million times. You need to like refresh, give it a minute, scroll around, maybe press like change the tickets from like you're looking for 2 tickets to 1 ticket, because then some might come up where there's like 2 together. Just like try not to press too many buttons, but try not to refresh too many times at the same time. But there are ways you can refresh it without actually pressing refresh. Like if I was looking for 2 tickets, I might change it. Oh, actually I want 4. Oh, actually no, like I want 2, and then it will show me the ones that have left people's baskets in that meantime. I don't know if that makes sense. Please tell me if it doesn't, because I can explain that better, I'm sure. There's ways to refresh it without actually pressing the refresh button. Don't press the refresh button too much because it will think you're a bot and then you won't be able to buy anything. But at the same time, don't be scared to refresh because you can a few times, as long as you're not overdoing it. When the tickets say they are sold out, they're normally not. So for example, I might just be looking, I might be like, oh, well, I might want to go, so let me just have a look, and then I just get in and I'm in front of you in the queue. I'm just having a look. I don't want the tickets, they're in my basket, but I don't have any intention of buying them. So eventually after like 10 minutes or so, they time out. It could be that someone's card gets declined. It could be like there's so many reasons why someone might have tickets in their basket and then release them. They could just be trying to get better tickets. So bear that in mind as well. So if you go in and it says there's no tickets, just be patient, refresh, and someone's basket might have just timed out and then you get them. That's why you gotta be quick because I'm sure someone else will want them as well. If the tickets are actually gone, like they're actually gone, they are actually sold out, they're gone, like it's an hour after the sale started, don't panic, because you might have the Ariana Grande resale, like the artist pre-sale on like the Wednesday, and then you might have the O2 pre-sale on the Thursday, and then you might have the general sale on the Friday. Like, that's just me guessing. That's not actually like factually correct, please don't quote me on that. But like, they're not going to release all of the tickets for the first pre-sale. They'll have some reserve. Like, they're not going to be like, if you get the O2 priority resale, which is like a day after this one, you're not going to get worse seats just because you're in this one instead of this one. Like, they save the good seats so that they're evenly spread across all the days. If the tickets are actually gone though, this happened to one of my friends, I think it's for Lady Gaga, I can't really remember, but she was trying to get tickets and they were gone, like they were gone, they were gone. They were waiting for the general sale, but that evening of the pre-sale she randomly checked at like 5 o'clock and they had dropped more tickets and didn't say anything. Like there was no news or announcement that they had dropped more tickets, but she checked randomly later on that day and there were just tickets there. Keep an eye in the evening of the drop as well, but don't be disheartened if you have to wait for like the general sale. There still will be good tickets then. I would say if you are looking for like resale tickets though, I would only ever trust like Ticketmaster resale, AXS resale, or Twickets, which are like face value. You might get charged like a fee, a Twickets fee, but they're face value, so it's a lot better than paying like StubHub prices or something like that. But please, I am begging you, don't trust someone just because you know them. For the Eras tour, my manager at a job that I used to work at, he actually offered me tickets and he ended up scamming me like £300. I managed to get the money back. That's a different story. I can do a different video on that if you want. But like I thought because he was my manager, I didn't think he would do that, and he did. So don't trust people unless it's like your actual best friend. I don't know. Be careful who you trust, but don't trust like random people on Twitter or like random people on TikTok. Because I post a lot of concert content, I get a lot of people commenting on my videos trying to sell their tickets, and it's obviously a scam, and they're obviously just like preying on like people being like, oh, how much is your ticket? Yeah, I'll buy it, here, I'll bank transfer you the money, and then you never hear from them again. Like just be so careful of who you trust, and like think of it like realistically. If I had an extra ticket and I wanted to sell it, I would sell it on the Ticketmaster platform or Twickets or StubHub or something like that. Like I wouldn't go to Twitter or TikTok to sell my spare ticket. And often as well, something I didn't mention in my TikTok video that I just filmed, networking really does make a difference, because one of the ways I was able to get to so many Taylor Swift shows is because my friend had a spare ticket, or my friend let me use their code because they already got tickets to a different show. Like, make friends in your niche. Like if you want to start making like Ariana Grande friends now, then feel free to do so, but just make sure that you trust these people before you give them any money. But I'm talking about like actually making like actual friends. Like these are some of my best friends now. I'm not talking about like a random stranger on the internet that I kind of became kind of friends with and then kind of trust them but kind of don't. Like I don't know, I feel like that's to your discretion. Just be careful with who you trust is basically the long and short of that. One other point though that is really, really important and actually did happen to me when I was getting Coldplay tickets. So I was live streaming me trying for Coldplay tickets on TikTok when I was trying, and I was in the queue for a couple of dates and I was like 20,000 or something in the queue. Coldplay actually dropped more tickets whilst I was in the queue, and I didn't know because that's all I was looking at. But because I was live streaming on TikTok, someone in the comments told me they've just added another 2 dates for the 3rd and the 4th. Like, go. And so I left, I took the risk. I left my Ticketmaster queue where I was like 9,000 in the queue or whatever, I don't know where I was, but I was nowhere near the front, but I wasn't that far away. So it was a bit risky of me to leave the queue, but I did, and I joined the queue for the 3rd of September, and I got in like that and I bought the tickets like that. And that's, I think, probably the only reason I actually managed to get tickets for Coldplay. Like, I think if I had just waited in my queue, I probably wouldn't have got out of it. But at the same time, if I wasn't live streaming, I wouldn't have known about this extra date. Like, it wasn't really announced anywhere. So just keep an eye on things like Twitter on the day of, like while you're in the queue, keep an eye on Twitter, see what Twitter's saying. Twitter's like a really good place that people talk about like tickets and stuff like that. So keep an eye on Twitter whilst you're in the queue, but just like be careful not to accidentally close your tab while you're in Twitter. Like if you're on your laptop, then have like your phone on Twitter and like keeping an eye on that. I hope that makes sense. Just be aware if any extra dates are added, and also just like with Ariana, like there's a high chance that she might add European dates, so be flexible, be willing to go to that. When we went to see Sabrina, we actually ended up going to Paris to see Sabrina, and it actually worked out cheaper for us to go to Paris than it would have for me to go to Manchester for the weekend. Like I think if I had gone to Manchester to see Sabrina, it would have cost me like £500 to get like a train up there and a train back and then the actual ticket and then a hotel. Like I think it was like £500 or £600, but with Paris the ticket was like 50 quid, like 60 euros or something, and then you pay for the Eurostar, which is like 150 quid. And then I don't know if there's like a law in Europe where like you're not allowed to charge extra for a hotel just because there's a show on, but the hotel was like 100 quid each. I think it was like £110, and then we just shared a room, like me and my friends. Keep an eye on potential other dates that she might add. So for example, I think she's doing the 15th, 16th and 17th, maybe the 18th, I don't know, but I know there's a gap, a couple day gap, and then she's doing the 20th, and then she's doing the 23rd. So personally, I would keep my eyes on the 21st and the 22nd in case when you're in the queue, she adds a couple more dates for the 22nd, 23rd, or whatever date it was, I can't remember. Also, while you're in the queue, she might add tickets for Europe. Like, just keep an eye on what's going on. Like, don't be so solely focused on just the queue that you don't get if there's another ticket released or another date released or another city released or something. You may notice that I look a little bit different now. Basically, I got so many questions on the TikTok version of this video that I posted yesterday that I thought I would do another video answering those questions. So this is technically part 3 of the TikTok, but I mean, it's all in one part on YouTube, so we're just going to carry on. Some questions that people were asking me was, what are the best seats? You can see here, I've done like a little doodle. This is roughly what we've seen the stage might look like. Ariana herself commented on this and said, it looks kind of like that, but not exactly. I did this doodle when I was trying to demonstrate for TikTok, so I'll do the doodle again. So basically, you have the stadium, and then you have upper bowl, and then you have, oh, my pen is terrible. This planner is shit. You have upper bowl, lower bowl, and then the stage may look something like this from what we've gathered. And then normally in the UK, you have this area here is standing. Some artists like Lady Gaga does have this as seated instead, but I think it's down to the artist of what they want to do. Normally in the UK, this is standing. So we're going to ignore that for now. Normally the best seats are kind of along here on the upper and lower levels. Lower is obviously better than upper because it's closer to the stage. But these are still good wherever you are, upper or lower, or at the very end of like the catwalk. I hope that makes sense. So these are the best seats because you get to see directly down the stage. These are the best seats because you're so close. I'm not saying that these ones in the corner here are bad. I think the only bad ones you get, I don't know, I haven't been to the O2 in so long, and last time I went to the O2 I was like down here. I don't know if they have seats that are kind of like almost behind the stage, but when you go to Wembley they do. So sometimes like you have ones where you can like only kind of like, you can only kind of see like this bit, like you're sat over here and you can see this bit but you can't see this bit. Normally when that happens you do get like a screen on the side of the stage. That's what happened with Taylor Swift anyway. I hope that crap drawing with a pen that won't work is helpful, but I'm not saying like if you're able to get any seats, honestly that's great. Like these tickets are going to be so hard to get that any seat is a good seat. I think normally the ones here are normally the ones that are VIP because they are such a good view, but we'll see. How not to feel anxious. A lot of people are asking me and telling me like, it's my first ever time seeing Ariana, it's my first ever concert, how do I not feel anxious? And for that I would just say like, these venues, like they take the security really like seriously. I know it's your first time, but they do this like day in, day out. It's what they're used to, it's their job. Like their security, they're there to help you, they're not there to scare you or hurt you or anything. And especially with like the past of what's happened with Ariana, she is going to make sure the security is like shit hot. Like it's going to be like the security is going to be securitying. I have no better way to say it other than that. They're going to check your bag before you go in. They're going to like make sure everyone's tickets are legit. Like they're not going to let like random people off the street in. They're not going to like, you're going to be safe. This is their job to keep you safe. You're going to be safe. But a little bit of anxiety is totally normal. So like don't feel weird if you are anxious. So the next question is, how does the queue work? How do you join it? So about half an hour before the tickets go on sale, I think they go on sale at 10 AM for Ariana, they open what's called a waiting room, and basically you just go there and you just wait. Like that's all you do, is literally a waiting room. Imagine you're at like the dentist or something and you're just waiting to be called for your appointment. Like you're just waiting, you're just sat there. You don't get guaranteed a place in the queue for how early or late you join the waiting room. Sometimes you can join 5 minutes before, sometimes you can join half an hour before. Like it doesn't matter how early you're in the waiting room, it just randomly assigns you a place in the queue once the waiting room has finished being a waiting room. So once it hits 10 o'clock, that's no longer a waiting room, you're then generated a place in the queue. This is where yesterday I was saying that I refresh. That's on you if you want to refresh. I personally do refresh. I mean, I touched on that yesterday, so I'm not going to go into that again. A lot of people are asking, what is O2 priority and how do you use it? A lot of European fans, I think, are trying to get tickets to London because the London dates at the moment are Ariana's only European shows. So a lot of people in Europe, like Spain, I think someone messaged me from France earlier saying, what is O2? I'm from France, I don't know what it is, do I need it? So O2 is a phone company. O2 own the stadium that Ariana is playing in London. When you have an O2 phone number or a Virgin Wi-Fi or whatever, because Virgin and O2 are like sister companies, I think, you get what's called O2 priority. It's like a perk with having your phone network through them. And for O2 priority, you get early access for tickets. So that's what the O2 pre-sale is. It's like the same as the artist pre-sale. If I had to choose which one I was going to go in, I would go in the O2 priority because less people have an O2 phone number than anyone and everyone who can sign up. Like literally 10 million people can sign up for the artist pre-sale, but not 10 million people have an O2 phone number that are going to want to try and get tickets. I just think that the O2 is going to be the best pre-sales go through, personally, that's me, but do what you want. How to get it, how to use it. You need to have an O2 phone number, and then once you have the O2 phone number and you've got the contract or whatever it is you have, you need to go onto the app. The app is just called O2 Priority, and then on the home screen it will come up with like tickets coming soon or something like that, and then a couple of days before they go live you should be able to access Ticketmaster through O2. I don't know the logistics, but it will know that you're there for the O2 Priority resale. Pre-sale. I keep saying resale, it's pre-sale. Advice for the first time going. I think I could do like a whole other video on this. Just make sure you stick to like the bag restrictions because you don't want to like bring a bag and then not be allowed in because it's too big. Get there early enough that you don't have to stress about your seats. Just, I don't know any other tickets of like, I don't know any other tips of like how to enjoy it other than just like, don't stress. How long does it take for the queue to check out? So once you're given a place in the queue, it could take half an hour, it could take an hour, it could take 5 minutes. Like you don't know, like it depends where you are in the queue. If you get put into the queue and your number 1,000 in the queue, it's probably going to take you 10 minutes to get through. If you get put in the queue at 140,000, it's probably going to take you an hour, if not more, to get through. Like it just depends on where you get put on the queue. And then once you're in the queue, you've got like 5-10 minutes to check out. I think it's normally 10 minutes, but sometimes it's 5. But once you've actually got the ticket in your basket and you're like waiting to check out, it will give you a timer of like how long you've got to check out, if that makes sense. What is a realistic budget? So it looks like dynamic pricing is on for the Ariana Grande tickets, which is a shame because artists can turn it off if they want to. It's basically like if I was number 1 in the queue and I got straight through, I could pay £50 for a ticket, and then once the algorithm, the system recognizes that it's a popular event, it will shoot the prices up, and I could be sat next to you in the same exact seats, and it could cost me 50 quid because I got there earlier, and it could cost you £300, if that makes sense. Separate phone numbers for different accounts. So I think I confused people yesterday when I mentioned this. So I have 3 different phone numbers tied to 3 different Ticketmaster accounts. I have 3 different email addresses, 3 different Ticketmaster accounts with 3 different phone numbers attached. I have my phone number, I have a work phone number, and then I use my boyfriend's phone number with 3 different email addresses. So I have 3 different Ticketmaster accounts trying, and I would use like my iPad, my laptop, and my phone. So I've got 3 different devices, 3 different accounts, 3 different phone numbers, 3 different email addresses. Hopefully that makes sense because that confused a lot of people in the TikTok comments yesterday. When will you get the pre-sale code? Loads of people were freaking out in my video yesterday that I posted saying, I don't have a code yet, when am I getting the code? Why hasn't my code come yet? You'll get the code nearer the time. So with Taylor Swift, what happened with like the Eras tour, you got given a code a few days before, and I think that's to stop people. Like people were like trying to sell their codes, but you can't sell their codes. If anyone offers you to buy their code, ignore them. You can't buy their code because their code is going to be tied to their account. A few days before, you'll get a code. So if you've registered your interest for like the artist pre-sale, you followed the link in Ariana's bio, you've entered your phone number, you've got a text saying like you'll hear from us soon or something like that. I can't remember the exact wording, but it will say something like stay tuned or something when it's nearer the time. So I think the tickets go on sale, is it the 16th of September? I can't remember. When the tickets go on pre-sale, a couple of days before that, they'll send you a code, probably by email or by text. Do not share that code with anyone. Do not buy the code from anyone. Don't sell the code. Just don't, like, the code is tied to you, but like you still don't want to give it away to anyone just in case anything happens, or in case they hack you and like manage to get into your account and they just need the pre-sale to get it. I don't know, I'm not trying to scare you, but just keep the code to yourself, keep it safe. And then that was the code that I was talking earlier about, how I would have it in a separate note in my phone, copied and pasted, ready to go on my phone or computer, whatever you're using. Refreshing rules. I think I confused a lot of people again when I was talking about refreshing. So you can refresh as much as you want when you're in the waiting room. That's not going to make a difference at all. You can refresh once you are buying the tickets, once it's your time to buy the tickets, once it says it is now your turn, select your tickets. You can refresh, but don't refresh too much. But when you are in the queue, when it has given you a number and the number is counting down and is getting lower, do not refresh. Whatever you do, do not refresh, because it will kick you to the back of the queue. You could be at 10,000, you press refresh, you're going to be at 150,000. Like, it's going to chuck you right to the back because it thinks you're a new person joining the queue. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to upload this video. I'm going to wait and see if I get any more questions on the next part of this video. I'm sure I will, and then I'm going to make like this YouTube like one big mega video, and I'm going to post it at some point this week. So you'll probably see me looking different again in the next 10 minutes or so. Also, don't forget to subscribe to me on YouTube. No one ever subscribes to me on YouTube. I've got loads of TikTok followers, loads of Instagram followers, but no one follows me on YouTube, so follow me now. I went to Coldplay last night. Oh my god, my voice. I went to Coldplay last night, and I'm doing a video for TikTok right now of what was in my bag for Coldplay. So I want to film it for the YouTube part of the Ariana tour tips as well, but I can't be bothered to film it twice because that's what I've been doing recently. So I'm going to sit you here and I'm going to be showing TikTok what was in my bag, but I'm going to like make sure you can see as well. I went to Coldplay last night and I've had loads of people that are seeing Ariana Grande for the first time commenting on my videos recently for the tour tips and things like that that I've been posting. So I thought I would show you what was in my bag that I took with me to the concert. I'm not saying that you have to have everything that I took in my bag with you, but these are things that I brought that I have found really useful in the past when I've ever gone to a concert. Starting off, the bag has to be smaller than an A4 bit of paper usually, but check your stadium or your like venue's rules. I always like to have one with a zip as well, because then I can zip it up, or like one that closes fully instead of one that's just open, because I kicked this over about 3 times last night. The first thing I have in the bag is a power bank. I always, if I could only bring one thing, let it be this. I always bring a packet of tissues because you never know when the venue's going to run out of toilet roll and you don't want to be caught short. Or also, I get really watery eyes. My boyfriend was sneezing yesterday, so I think it's always really handy to have a packet of these. Next thing I took with me yesterday was a poncho. It was raining all day yesterday. Luckily it was dry for the evening, or at least it was where I was sat, because I was kind of like undercover at Wembley. But I always bring one of these clear ponchos because then you can see my cute outfit underneath as well. But you can get, I think I got a packet of 3 of these for £5 on Amazon. I think they're really useful to have. I have never used it yet, but it's always in my concert bag. Next is a phone lanyard. I know it's not the most pretty thing. You can get prettier ones than this. This was literally like a couple of quid off Amazon. I just think it's easier to have this around my neck, and then I can just drop my phone, enjoy the moment, and if I want to pick it up at any point, I just can. I feel like it's easier than going in my bag or like reaching in my pocket or anything like that. Next thing in my bag is my Coldplay glasses. I wonder if these work. Oh, they do work. Cute. I'm glad I kept these. Yeah, you obviously don't need them. It's got my hair on it. Next is my little purse. I always bring roll-on deodorant because it's the smallest one. I don't know if they're going to be funny about you bringing like aerosols, so I always bring roll-on because I don't want to be the smelly person that's stinking up the place. I always bring a little compact mirror because I always bring whatever lip combo I have on that day. This is the lip combo I had on yesterday, Fenty Beauty and NYX liner. I was wearing this yesterday so that I just had the little mirror so that I could reapply as and when I needed. Next thing is a small hairbrush. I bring a tiny little, I don't know what the real name of this is. You decant a perfume into it. So the next thing I've got in my bag is some confetti from Coldplay, so I'm going to put that safely over here. The next thing you need are some loop earplugs. I accidentally brought my niece's ones with me as well, so when I took her to see Taylor Swift and the Capital Summertime Ball, I got her a pair as well. So I got me a pair, her a pair. They're just different colours. Hers are kids ones, mine are adult ones, and they kind of look like earrings, so I think they're cute. But I don't know, I always find that I find it really hard to hear at a concert. Like, I find it really hard to hear what the artist is like singing, if the bass is too loud, or if I haven't been in a while and I'm not used to like that environment. It could be like really loud. Some people get really like overstimulated really easily, so they might use them for that. I just use it to protect my ears. Next thing in my bag is always some blister plasters. I brought these to Olivia Rodrigo, but I wish I brought 10 more because my blisters were blistering. They were really bad that day. You may think that you have comfy shoes on, but maybe not after however long of dancing. Ibuprofen, I just took 4, so enough for 2 each for me and my boyfriend in case we needed it. And the last thing in my bag are some, why is my hair on everything? The last thing in my bag are these little bags of Haribo. These are an absolute lifesaver. If like halfway through the concert you start to feel an energy dip, you don't have to worry about going and buying like a £10 bag of sweets or something from the actual counter. They're small because they're little individual bags. They're happy for you to have them. I think if I went in with a massive bag, they would probably not be too pleased about it, but because they're small bags and they're sealed, they're fine with it. That was the behind the scenes of me filming the TikTok. I have got one more part of the video that I want to do later on today, because I was in the Ticketmaster war yesterday, but I'll do that later and I'll come back to you. Hello, I'm back looking different yet again. I just wanted to jump on quickly and talk about whether or not I think The Weeknd and Ariana Grande are going to perform together, because there's been a lot of chatter about how they potentially will come together on one of the nights in London in August next year. So The Weeknd is performing in London on the 14th and 15th of August, and then Ariana is performing in London the 15th, 16th, 19th, 20th and 23rd. I finally memorised the dates. So there's a really good chance that Ariana might come out at Wembley at the Weeknd show on the 14th of August. So if you don't manage to get Ariana tickets and you want to see The Weeknd and Ariana together or separately, there's a really good chance that she might come out on the 14th. There is literally zero chance that they will come out or perform at each other's shows on the 15th, because one is performing at Wembley and one is performing at the O2, and they're very like they're far apart in London. They're both in London, but they're far apart. They're not gonna come out at the same time. They've each got a show that day. There is a good chance that The Weeknd is going to come out at Ariana's show on the 16th, because he has the 14th and 15th and then he has a gap on the 16th. So if you want to see both, I would say try for The Weeknd tickets on the 14th and try for Ariana Grande tickets on the 16th. However, bearing this in mind, I know a lot of people like both artists. Just bear in mind that I think the 16th are going to be extra difficult to get tickets for. A lot of people will apply this logic and think that The Weeknd is going to come out at Ariana's show. So I think that date is going to be particularly popular. I think it's going to be particularly hard to get tickets for that date. So if you're not overly bothered about seeing them together, then I would try for one of the different dates. I think it's going to be easier to get tickets for a different date. Anyway, that's my little 2 cents for today. I'm sure I'll be back in another part. I'm probably going to upload this video tomorrow because I've been filming this video for a week now. I'm going to do a few more. I've got a few more things that I want to say, and then I'm going to upload this very soon. So I'll see you again in a minute when I'm looking different again, I'm sure. I'm actually going to upload the video today, so I need to finish yapping. It's obviously another day. It's been like over a week since I started this YouTube video, but I need to get it up. I can always do a part 2 if I have to, but I need to get part 1 up because people keep asking me where the video is. The TikTok that I just posted is basically about how to get a good place in the Ticketmaster queue. I was talking in this video, hang on, let me get the pictures up because I had a green screen. Wednesday morning, I was off work because I was going to see Coldplay later that day, and my friend Harriet was at work. She was trying to get Coldplay tickets, but because she was like distracted and at work, and I knew that she was trying to get them for her husband's birthday, I was like, let me try and help, because I literally wasn't doing anything. I was just sewing some Christmas stockings. So I said to Harriet, let me try and help you. We both joined the queue at exactly the same time. Like, this was my setup. Like, I was literally sat at my sewing machine with my laptop next to me, and then if you zoom in, this is what it will say before, like, it gives you like a map of the arena. It was at Wembley, so this is like a map of Wembley. It shows you what it's going to look like to give you an idea of like what seats you might want. I think it normally tells you like what kind of price everything's going to be as well. Maybe not, I might be making that up. But anyway, it gives you a map of the venue, and it tells you that the waiting room opens in like 2 minutes, I think it was when I took this. So then that was my laptop while I was waiting, and then when it gets to like, when it's time for the waiting room to open, there's no pros or cons to what time you join the waiting room as long as you join it before the tickets go on sale. Once the 2 minutes had counted down, I hit refresh and it took me to the waiting room, and then I just continued sewing for half an hour while I was in the waiting room. And then once you're in the waiting room, something like this will come up, so it will tell you how long until the tickets go on sale. So there was 1 minute left at this point. It was 10:59 until the sale begins. I know in my last part of my video, or the last part of this video, I said that I start refreshing. I don't start refreshing until it hits 11 o'clock. So if you look up here in the corner, if you zoom in, it says it is 10:59 at this point, if it focuses. This is not the part that I start refreshing. I started refreshing when it hit 11 o'clock. I pressed refresh. I then waited a second. It told me that I was still in the waiting room, so I waited. And then I pressed refresh again. I waited like 5 seconds. It said you're still in the waiting room, but it looked like it was like trying to bounce between the waiting room and the queue. So it kept going queue and then pushing me back, queue, pushing me back. And then eventually, I think it was the 3rd or 4th time I pressed refresh and it just took me straight to the queue. And that is how I got to 5,000 in the queue. When I joined the queue, I joined at 5,056, but my friend Harriet, who was trying exactly at the same time as me, like she was out of her meeting, she was like actively trying to get tickets at the same time, she was 20,000 in the queue. And here is the proof in case you think I'm making it up. I sent her a picture to show her where I was in the queue, and that was 5,000, and then she said, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm 20,000. So, and then I was like, refresh it. I was like trying to tell her. So I was like, don't worry, I will get them for you, or I will try and get them for you anyway. If you haven't seen the queue before, this is the part that you do not want to refresh on. So this is, it basically counts you down. So I know I started at 5,000 and then I went 4,029, and then that's me screenshotting the fact that I was alive. And then it took me to 879, and then 99, 39, and then 1. And then after that, it will tell you that it is almost your turn. And this is basically like there's no one else in front of you, it's just waiting to tick you over into the buying page. Do not refresh it. When it has a number, when you have a number in the queue, and when you're at this bit when it says it's almost your turn, do not refresh it. Do not refresh it, whatever you do, because it would have taken me from like, I think the reason I took that picture of me on the live was because people were saying I was 149,000 in the queue. Like other people, because I was live while I was like trying to get these tickets, people were saying that they were like 150,000 in the queue. I was 5,000 because I followed my tips that I'm telling you guys, so that's proof that you should follow me and follow my tips. And other people were saying like I'm 96,000 people in front of me. Anyway, then when you get in, it says it's almost your turn, and then I stopped taking pictures because then I was actively trying to get tickets. There were loads of tickets left. Harriet specifically wanted standing tickets, like she only wanted standing tickets. There were some standing tickets there, but unfortunately they were only VIP because this wasn't an actual drop of tickets. Basically, Coldplay had these tickets on sale like back in October or whenever it was last year, and they had to change the dates last minute because of a tube strike in London next week. They've rescheduled it from one date to Friday the 12th, so that's the date I was trying for. So basically these were only tickets that people were reselling that couldn't make it to the rescheduled date. So if I had a ticket for Monday and then I couldn't make it on Friday because I was going on holiday or something, I would then give my tickets back to Ticketmaster, get a refund, and then they're hosting like another general sale just for resale, if that makes sense. It sounds really confusing, but this wasn't like an actual drop, which is why it was quite difficult to get the tickets. There were only tickets if people were reselling them. There were quite a lot of seats. For Coldplay they were like £150 or £200 depending on where you were. There were lots of VIP resale. There were lots and lots of tickets available. Harriet was just super fussy with what she wanted, and the tickets that she wanted, they weren't there. So I didn't manage to get tickets, but I followed every step that I always follow, and I did get in, and I could have got tickets if she was willing to get seated, but she didn't want seated. And I'm literally about to film another TikTok right now. I'll talk to you and then I'll film it, because otherwise I get confused if I'm trying to look at like the camera and the phone at the same time. I don't know if I want to stand or if I should get a seat, please help. I would say if you're not sure if you want to stand or sit, it depends entirely, like, to be honest, it depends on how much you care. To be honest, I just can't be bothered to stand. I can never be bothered to stand. I stood at Olivia Rodrigo and I'm quite short, and I had my, oh, they're not in here. I had my Doc Marten boots on, and they're like platform, and I still couldn't really see. Like, I'm quite short. My Docs were like giving me really bad blisters, so I actually took them off at one point, and then I like went down like a whole foot basically, and then I was like, oh, well, now I definitely can't see. At Olivia Rodrigo, there were like girls next to me, and it was really hot in there, and like we were boiling, and like girls next to me were like fighting because like one of them pushed into another, and it's just a bit rowdier. But then I stood at Sabrina Carpenter in Paris as well, and it was absolutely fine. I always prefer to stand a little bit further back so I've got more space than to be like squished like a sardine at the front. It hurts your legs, you've got nowhere to put your stuff. If you need the toilet or you need food or drink or whatever, like depending on obviously what venue you're at, like with the Eras tour, there's no way that I could have gone throughout like the whole day without going to the toilet, and like trying to get back in after going to the toilet would have been a pain. Getting food, getting water, they normally do hand water when you're like at barricade or whatever. I just personally cannot be bothered with the faff. I would rather have a seat, have a place that's mine, have a space where I can put my coat, put my bag. Like when I went to Coldplay the other day, I just put my bag under my chair, I put my drink under my chair. Like when you're standing, you don't have your own space. But saying that, if you're standing, you've got a better opportunity to get closer to the artist. So it depends on how much that's important to you. Personally, I don't care. I'm just happy to see them. It just depends on what kind of experience you want. Some people like being standing. Some people like standing in the pit and having that like squish proximity with other fans and like being able to get that close to the artist. I personally would rather see them from further away and be comfortable and have my own space, and like if my legs start hurting or if there's like a break, I can sit down. But then maybe that's just me being old or lazy, I don't know. The only reason we went standing at Olivia Rodrigo was because they were the only tickets
Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh my god, literally no one is talking to you, go away. The only reason we went standing at Sabrina and Olivia is because Olivia, the tickets were so hard to get that standing was the only option, and I wanted to be there, so we went for standing, which was good because we all bought our tickets individually. So I think Hayley bought a ticket, and then I was like, I got FOMO, I want a ticket, so then I got a ticket, and then I think Lauren got a ticket, and then Biddy got a ticket, so we all ended up being able to go together because we all got standing. Whereas if I was to get a seated ticket, we would have gone together, but I would have been on my own. With Sabrina Carpenter, the reason we went for standing as well was because it was the only way that a big group of us could have stood together. Like, the chances of, like, there were 7 of us that went, and the chances of us being able to get 4 seated tickets and then also 3 seated tickets next to those 4, like, is physically, like, it's really, really hard to do. It's basically impossible. I would say if there's not a big group of you going, personally I would prefer to go seated, or if you have options I would prefer to go seated. But at Olivia there were no options, we had to get standing, and at Sabrina there was a big group of us and we wanted to be together, so we had to go standing as well. So yeah, I hope that helps. I'm literally just about to record that TikTok. I'm actually going to end this video here because I've been filming it for over a week now. I started it like 8 days ago, so I'm going to edit it and upload it to my YouTube today. I might do a part 2 of this. If there's any questions, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If there's loads of questions on my TikTok, I'm going to put them on there as well, so ask away, ask everything, and I'm going to try my best to. We've got like 10 days I think until the sale goes live, so I'm going to try my best to answer all the questions that I can until then. One question actually really quickly before I go that some people were saying is, what happens if the pre-sale sells out? They do reserve tickets for general as well, so if you try for pre-sale, you try it and they're sold out, try again for the general sale on, I think it's on Friday. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I'm going to stop yapping. I actually do have a Ticketmaster affiliate code as well, so if you fancy being a really lovely person and using my Ticketmaster code, I do get commission. So if you go onto my Instagram or my TikTok, press the link in my bio, and then it'll ask you open up the link tree, and then at the top it says Ticketmaster link. If you press that, and then if you buy a ticket anywhere from here, I get 1% commission, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if like 10 people buy a ticket that's like £400, then I get like a bit of money. My maths isn't quick enough to work that out on the spot. But if you do fancy using that, I would appreciate it. I'm going to put it in the caption of this YouTube video as well, because I've helped you guys loads. So if you want to help me out back by buying the tickets through my link, then I would love you forever. It doesn't cost anything else for you. It just means that I get the commission for helping you guys out, basically. But I really hope you guys found this helpful. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well. My username is @SashaRidge, and I'm going to finally close this video off now, edit it, and upload it today. Why was that so difficult for me to say? Anyway, I'm going now. Bye. Love you.